Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Blitz5, and in today's video, we gotta talk about bots in PUBG. So I was actually trying not to record this video, and I'm gonna hold off on sharing my opinion right now. I just don't think it's fair to share my opinion one day in. I'm gonna wait for at least like 5 days to a week of streaming and playing this game. I streamed for about 6 hours today and probably got maybe 4 hours or less of game time. So I feel like that's pretty comprehensive, and I tested a lot of stuff which I want to share with you guys today. I want to go over how to identify a bot and also PUBG's response to this, which is why I'm making this video. After the stream, I quickly went to social media and Reddit to see what people were saying about the bots in the game, which there was a lot of negative feedback regarding this because there are a lot of bots, more than I even anticipated in the game. So then after this, I decided let me go to the official PUBG forums because I want to start using that platform a little bit more to be a part of that community and see what people are posting there. And then, long and behold, I saw a post from PUBG Andy, shout out to him, explaining what's going on from PUBG's point of view and how there were a few issues with the implementation of this on console. So hopefully after we get all of the information here, I'm going to try to do my best to explain it in this video. We can kind of understand what's going on and hopefully see a better future for bots on console. All right, so first let's talk about what we do know and how you guys can identify the bots. So in the official patch notes for the update, PUBG posted what the bots can and cannot do. I think it's easier just to list what the bots can't do. It's just easier to understand that. And these also are pretty big giveaways for when you're encountering a bot in the game. So first and foremost, the bots cannot lean, so you're always just going to see them standing there shooting at you. They can't jump, ledge grab, or use throwables. And PUBG didn't mention this, but they also can't drive. So that's another big giveaway. If you're driving around, you see players just running across a random field with absolutely no cover at all, it's most likely going to be a bot. And on top of all this, the movement and the appearance of the bots are pretty big giveaways, at least in this first stage of implementation. So right now, all of the bots are just wearing basic outfits, and most of them have white shirts. And they also have that old school green helmet on that makes you look like you're a new player. So if you see a character without any new items or skins on, then it's most likely going to be a bot. And then also, it seems like most of the bots, if not all of them, have an underscore in their name, and when you have crossplay enabled, show up as the other platform. So if you're on Xbox, you'll see the controller, and I think you still see the same thing on PlayStation. When if you kill an Xbox player, they're going to have the Xbox logo on their name, and a lot of the names seem to be pretty odd, not something that you would normally see in game. And then post-game, if you want to confirm that the player you killed or got killed by was a bot or a human, you can go into the survival tab of the after action report and scroll down to that player. If you can't inspect their player card or their gamer tag on Xbox, then they're most likely going to be a bot. And right now, because the update is new, most stat tracker apps aren't accounting for the bots yet. So if you use the PUBG stat tracker app on your iPhone, or if you go to PUBGlookup.com and check out your recent games and go to the leaderboards or go to the player count, it will show you all the human players that are in that game. So for example, I went into FPP, and right now that is one of the worst hit lobbies with bots because there's just not that many people playing FPP on console. And I got into a game where I think there was only a handful of human players, which is definitely unfortunate. And you can see that in PUBG Lookup and again on the Stat Tracker app. So let's finish what we do know. There's only a couple more things, and then go over what we don't know because a couple of those are pretty interesting. So we do know that if you're playing in duos or squads and you're feeling for a teammate, that you will not get a bot on your team. The bots will play in the blue zone, and contrary to some people's belief on stream, the bots can win a match. So I went into a game, eventually made it to a 1v1 versus a bot, and I did let this bot shoot me, and they did win. Pretty interesting because we got to see what it looked like from the bot's perspective. So PUBG did put out a disclaimer that it's going to look pretty weird if you're watching a bot, and they don't really want you to spectate the bots because if there's any humans left in the game, you're going to spectate them instead of the bot that killed you. That also happened to me as well. But if you watch this footage here, it was pretty strange because the way that the bot is just moving around like a scripted player, because they are, and then also their auto AK seemed to be going faster than a regular AK. And even though these bots act kind of silly, they still can take you out pretty quickly, especially if you don't have a lot of armor or a level 1 vest. They auto spray very quickly on target, and you can get taken out of nowhere, and then you just got killed by a bot. And right now, let's go over some of the things that I'm not 100% certain on. So if you guys know the information about this, please leave it down in the comments below. Some of this stuff may be posted about after I'm making this video, but as the time of me recording this, I could not find any definitive answers on this or prove it through my testing in game. So right now, there's some theories about how the bots are getting to the game. Some people believe they're parachuting in. Some people believe that they're spawning in with a weapon right off the bat. And I honestly think that this is a mix of both. So in my first game, when I landed at port, I looked back and I really didn't see that many parachutes, but I saw 3 off in the distance and they were just going straight down, kind of like AFK players. And normally if you watch a human player land, they kind of come in at an angle. So this was pretty much a dead giveaway to me that these were bots. And it turns out I tested this later. I saw similar parachutes dropping down. I drove right to them and they did have weapons. So I was kind of confused by this. I didn't think they could have gotten all 3 of them weapons by the time I got to my car and drove over to them. It was pretty quick in the time that I did that, and they were all fighting each other and I ended up killing them. And then I heard from other people in the stream that the bots just appear as you play the game. And there are some weird instances where I was just running around Vikendi. I would cross an open field, no one would be there. I would get to the end of the field and then behind me would just be a player in the middle of the field, or 2 players or 3 players, and they would all be bots. So I don't know what's going on here, and I don't know if this has been confirmed by anybody that works at PUBG, but it seems like they're parachuting into the game and then also spawning in, which is kind of crazy. I didn't think that would be the case, but so far that's what my experience has been. And again, I'm not sure if that's 100% correct. It's just kind of a theory at this point. And I don't know how important this will be to you guys, but I haven't found out 100% or not whether the bots take care packages. There was one that landed near me and a bunch of different bots in the game and nobody went for it, and every care package I went to in the game hadn't been hit. So this is leading me to believe that the bots do not take the weapons that are in the crate. And then lastly here, before we get into PUBG's response, I want to go over the player versus bot count in the lobby and share my experience. So this is just my personal experience playing solos today and what some other people shared with me in the stream. So TPP wasn't that bad when I played. I would say it was an average ratio of like 70 to 75% humans and then 30 to 25% bots. In some of my games, it was like 80 players and 20 bots, which I didn't think was so bad. It's more than I initially anticipated, like 20 bots in a game. But there were some games where I think I had a 6-kill game where everybody was a human. I didn't run into a single bot, and that felt pretty good. It felt like old school PUBG, and I didn't mind that. But then there were also some pretty bad games when I ran into a lot of bots, and it was fun at first, but then it quickly got kind of lame after that. And then if you go into FPP, that was hit pretty hard. I would say about 90% of the lobby from my experience was bots and only about 10% players. And actually in my very first game, I got a 14 kill chicken dinner. 4 of the kills were humans and the other 10 were bots. And I was definitely not expecting that as a first match. And then what I heard from other people coming to the stream is that TPP solo was providing them with the best experience with the most human players, and that most people who were doing duos and squads said that there was anywhere from 50 to 75% humans in their lobby on average. And obviously there was some anomaly games where you'd get in and there was only about like 10 to 20% humans, and obviously that is not intended to be happening right now unless you are truly a new player or don't have a rank yet. And that's kind of where PUBG's post comes into play, so we can finally mention it here. So what PUBG said here is that this is not their intention to have this many bots in the game, and that this was caused by a few different issues. The biggest one being the reset of our stats in Season 7, because we do have, as players, a hidden matchmaking rating. This is obviously a bigger thing in regions where there are more players and they can kind of match you based on your skill. So that's all been reset, and then they're also trying to assign AI to each person's skill level. So while you rank up and play more games and they collect more data on you, this will change. And we also have the launch of Google Stadia, so there's new players in the player pool and there's more stuff for them to add into the matchmaking, which is causing some of the problems. And then a direct quote from PUBG here, they said, "We obviously do not want matches being overrun by bots, but we need to be careful to not quickly rush a change without getting more data during peak hours this evening. Thus, we are gathering data over the next day or two in order to make adjustments to the balance of MMR and AI in the game." So after I read this, I felt a lot better hearing that they acknowledge that there's maybe too many bots and that this needs to be fixed, but they also need to collect data so they can understand where the bots need to enter the game to help players out, to get matches and help new players. And then us veteran players can hopefully return to some regular matches with only a few bots in the game. So after playing today, I felt like this was a really helpful message, at least for me, because just to share a little bit of my opinion, I was a little worried after playing with all the bots in the game. So the fact that they're acknowledging this right away to me is encouraging. And my experience other than the bots was so great today. The game was running very well. I played only Vikendi, but the map was playing great. I didn't have any desync or lag that I noticed. The train was working great. The map looks great. It really felt like the best experience I've had in PUBG, maybe ever, other than the fact that I was disappointed by the bots. So if they can get this fixed, the game seems to be running really well. I'll have to try the other maps and see what's going on over there and play with duos and squads and get everyone else's feedback. But right now I'm very excited and pleased with the relaunch of Vikendi. And like I said, hopefully this will just work out, and try to remain positive and don't give up on this yet. Try to play for a little bit longer. Let's see what happens. Let's let PUBG work on this. This is only the initial implementation. Stage 1, you could argue that maybe they should have waited to test this later on, but we're already here and it is what it is. So as always, please let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'm Blitz5 and peace out.